Oh, I can cook too. On top of the rest, my seafood's the best in town.
Yes, I can cook too. My fish can't be beat, my sugar sweets around.
Oh, I'm a gal's ideal of a perfect meal, right down to the demi-tasse.
I'm a pot of joy for a hungry boy, baby. I'm cooking with gas.
Oh, I'm a gumdrop, a sweet lollipop, a brook right out of the brook.
And what's more, baby, I can cook. What's cooking, Partridge? Oh yeah!
Welcome to episode 13 of What's Cooking Parkridge. I'm Lori Fredrics, and today's program with local Parkridge native Tommy Greco is a seafood boil with wine tasting from That Supper Club's exclusive Provence, France vineyard. Tommy Greco is the owner of Parkridge restaurant Pop Empanada, which is the home of That Supper Club. It's located at 7 Hawthorne Avenue in Parkridge. Tommy also owns Que Rico Steakhouse in Manhattan. Today's event is sponsored by both That Supper Club and the Parkridge Recreation and Cultural Committee. Portions of the proceeds of this event are going to go to the Tri-Borough Food Pantry. With me today is Tom Bauer of PKRG-TV, and he and Tommy go way back. So I'm going to leave it with him to interview Tommy Greco.
Tommy, you and I go way back.
Yes,
back
we do.
To your high school days.
Yeah, back to the 90s.
Yeah.
1990.
Tell me, it's been a while, but do you
Yes.
have any favorite memory of a football game or a certain play that you were involved in? I know I have one.
One of my favorite, probably one of my favorite games was when we beat Cresskill my senior year, and one of my favorite plays as a running back, of course, the 32 dive. Simple and easy and right up the middle.
Right. Yeah, well, I remember you as a running back, but even more so as a linebacker.
Yes.
What I remember is one Thanksgiving day, probably senior year, we were in Emerson, and early in the game, they tried to run a sweep. I sent you on a blitz on the outside.
Yep.
Looked like the kid might get around you, and you dove at him, tripped him up. It was a big loss.
Can you remember that?
I remember that.
It was a cold game.
Yeah. We forced them to punt.
Yep.
We got good field position and took over the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good memory, Coach.
Oh, thank you. Now, I remember you as a pretty strong kid.
Yep.
And I think you liked to eat back in those days.
Always liked to eat.
So when did you get involved in the idea of feeding other people, cooking and getting recipes together?
Yeah, so I went to school, I went to University of Hartford. I was a finance major, but I bartended and was a server all the way through college. And then when I came out, I worked on Wall Street for a little bit. Then I kind of stepped back and went back into the food service industry. I opened up a nightclub called The Ritz back in 2005. And from there, that was a nightclub, late hours. I wanted to transition back into the restaurant field. So in 2014-ish, I opened up Que Rico South American Steakhouse, which is a USDA prime meats, butchered, dry-aged, everything on premise, and then the rest of the menu encompasses Chile, Argentina, Peru, and some Colombian influences.
I gotta tell you, I think it's very clever, the Que Rico. Because if you just hear the word Que Rico, you're thinking in Spanish, how delicious.
Yeah.
And then you look at the card and it's the letter K and the word Rico. Was that K for anybody special?
So, of course, I'm going to say it's for my mom, Catherine, because she'll watch this.
I set you up for that one.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, we thought it would be easier to do it that way instead of Q-U-E and people mispronouncing it Q Rico.
Yeah.
But, we had to do special K for Catherine.
Very good, very good. And I know that Pop Empanada has a definite South American flair to it.
Yes.
What was the influence there?
So what happened was during COVID, I've been living in Hell's Kitchen since 98, 99, and that's where the businesses are, raising my family. And then during COVID, it got a little dicey there. So when my mom stayed in Florida, we moved into her house to stay for the summer while it blew over. well. It didn't blow over, and you know, we got my son Rocco into Eastbrook, the school I went to.
All right.
And he excelled, and the writing was on the wall, and felt comfortable to be back in Park Ridge and back home. And then we decided to open up Pop Empanada, as we didn't know what was going to happen in New York. So it was fast casual, so we did that, and about half a year into it is when, with Nicholas, the chef, my cousin, we decided to start doing Supper Club and, you know, just pick up the game a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about that Supper Club.
So Supper Club was started 1 year ago. We do it Thursdays at 7:30 and Saturdays at 8 o'clock. The menu changes every single week. And Nicholas owns that pasta club. So it's 2 fresh pasta courses. It's 6-course tasting menu. We always throw, it's Italian leading, but Nicholas used to be work at Nobu on 57th Street in Manhattan.
Okay.
So there always is a little bit of a Japanese influence, whether it be with a crudo or a certain type of dish, blended in with the Italian flair that we do.
Tell me, where did you get the idea of having a fish boil out in the park in a June night?
So after harassing Keith, the mayor, and Liz Falkenstern about letting me do an outdoor supper club, at first they thought I was crazy, and then after they said, okay, this has been working for a year now, it's getting a lot of attention. Keith was awesome. The mayor was like, whatever you want to do, let's do some more cultural events, and you know, let's see what we can do. And I came up with the boil, because this is one of the things we like to do at this time of year, in the beginning of summer and at the end of summer, and especially at Atkins Glen. It's kind of where it all began, where we learned how to play t-ball here, where we learned how to play soccer, and then in the winters, they don't do it anymore. We used to have bonfires up here as a kid.
Oh, really?
And
they still do the sledding, though.
They still do the sledding, but the bonfires, they kind of went down. Yeah. So this was always a very special place, because you loved coming here as a kid, whether it was to play sports or go sledding. Yeah. So why not throw a dinner party where no one's ever had a dinner party before?
Sounds like a good idea. And it seems like you got a good turnout.
Yeah, we got about 50 plus people.
Okay.
You know, we're doing this lobster boil. It's going to be lobsters, crawfish, shrimp, clams, mussels, kibasi, chorizo, corn, potatoes, and everybody gets a 1.5-pound lobster. And my friend Frankie, who I do business with in the city, we deal with his a vineyard from his hometown, which is great, his hometown to my hometown, in Provence, France. So we're doing a sparkling rosé with the first course. With the actual boil, we're doing the traditional rosé from Barbineau. That's the name of the vineyard. And then for dessert, we have a French sparkling dessert wine. Pretty excited.
It sounds great. Lori and I were watching all the ingredients being added in. It looks fantastic.
Oh, man.
Good luck with everything, Tommy. Always good to see you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Me too. Me too, pal.
I am here with Nick Pescatori of That Pasta Club and That Supper Club. So tell me, Nick, how did this come about?
So, That Pasta Club started post-pandemic. I had lost my job in the restaurant field, and I had to do something to pay the bills. So, started making pasta, friends and family, meal delivery, and then it just kind of snowballed into this big thing, and now we're doing 7 or 8 farmers markets a month. We're doing supper clubs twice a week, and we're doing this today, that rosé boil.
Right, so we are doing a seafood boil here, and it looks awesome. Can you tell me, what is the secret to an amazing seafood boil?
It's fresh, keep it simple, bold flavors, and have fun.
What kind of spices did you put in there?
I like to use your Old Bay, which is like a paprika, your dried garlic, dried onion, your secret ingredient, which is not so secret, but it's called mercan.
Mercan?
So it's a special pepper that comes from Chile, and it has a nice smoky flavor.
Oh, yeah. Now that you told us a secret, do you have to kill us?
No,
or
not
no?
at
Okay.
all. No.
All right, so tell me about That Pasta Club. I've heard by rumor that you make all the pasta.
Yes, that is true. That our pasta is made fresh weekly. We're making pasta about 6 days a week. We have an extruder and we do a bunch of different flavors. Like we do our pasta with spinach juice instead of water.
Wow.
We use porcini mushroom powder with cocoa. Well, it's all layers of flavor. The more layers you have, the more flavorful your dish is.
Right, but tonight we're not doing pasta.
No, we're not.
But other nights you could get pasta.
You can always get pasta.
All right, so tell me, what are you cooking besides the seafood boil?
Today.
Yes, today.
Right today.
Right today.
So
what are we
today
doing
we're
today?
going to be getting a filet mignon carpaccio as a past hors d'oeuvre. We're going to be having a tiramisu. We're going to be having French macaroons. And we're going to be having some kibasi, some andouille sausage, some local corn, potatoes, crawfish, clams, mussels, the whole 9 yards.
Right, but I also saw my favorite food in the entire world and a whole bunch of them.
Oh, the big lobsters. Yes, you can't forget about those. We have about 80 pounds of lobsters, which is probably a pound and a quarter per person. So there's about 60 lobsters. And everyone's going to get their own lobster and crack, and we'll have some fun, drink some wine, and have a good time.
I have heard a rumor that there's a blue lobster here. Is that true?
There is a blue lobster.
Or are there two?
There may be one. We're not going to, that one may survive and we'll let it go. But it's somewhere in there. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So, what is the secret to cooking lobster?
Is not to overcook it. Cannot overcook it. The lobster's going to keep cooking once it's done. We're not shocking it. We're just going to serve it and just eating it immediately. You know that, lots of butter, some lemon, and you're good to go.
Well, the people who are here tonight, who are coming here later, are going to have an amazing treat. So, thank you so much for taking time. I know you've got to get back to cooking this.
Yes.
Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I'm here with That Supper Club's exclusive wine provider. His name is Frank Petronio, and he is from France.
Hi, bonjour Laurie.
Bonjour!
I'm so exciting to be here. What a beautiful place.
Yes, what do you think of Park Ridge?
My first time, and I'm very impressed so far.
Wonderful. Are you from France?
So I was born and raised in France, Provence. I moved to America about 25 years ago. My background, I used to be a chef, always passionate with food and wine. And it's been like 12 years now, I opened my wine company. I'm very famous and well known for the rosé.
Ah, my
Provence?
favorite.
Yes.
In summer, my favorite in summer.
Yes. But to be honest with you, rosé, now those days people drink it all year long. Of course, you have more big impact during the summer because people assume, but I realized that when someone likes a product, you know, you want to find it all year long.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. Now, what is the best wine to have with seafood?
The one actually Provence, nice rosé like we're gonna have tonight, it's great. After, you know, you can also have some white, but the rosé goes very well with the seafood. Because in Provence you have this dish called the bouillabaisse,
the
which
bouillabaisse.
is similar than the lobster things. And bouillabaisse and rosé, it's the perfect match.
Is that because lobsters turn red and rosé has a bit of that red in it?
Could be.
Could be.
I don't know the entire story about that, but I know especially in south of France, where I'm from Marseille, you know, the Provence thinks the rosé, you know, with the fish, seafood and stuff like that, it's something like, you know, very, very common. We do that.
Yeah, so when I think of France, I think of many things. The art there, the culture there, and of course, the wine is part of the culture.
Yes.
What made you particularly interested in supplying wine?
Well, importing wine, it's just because my background in the end, you know. When you work in restaurant business and when you used to be a chef and so like that, after you want to do something else, the wine business for me was like the exit, you know. And I'm very excited now when I go to France, I go to festival, to bring some wine to New York, you know, because I like to work with small producers. I like to work with people who are organic, biodynamic, and take care of the nature and the environment. For me, it's very important, you know. And it's also for what you're drinking, you know, what you put in yourself, you know, it's important to have some clean wine to avoid headache and all those things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I was told by a chef never to cook with wine that you wouldn't drink and enjoy. Do you agree with that? That there isn't cooking wine and drinking wine, that it has to all be good?
Yes, I mean, it's two different things. Cooking wine, I'm not sure I will drink in that. I mean, I don't think it will be that bad, you know what I mean? But I mean, you know, some wine are just made for cooking, you know. I mean, sometimes even I use some rosé, even just a little drop when I make some dish, you know what I mean? But, you know, cooking wine means like cooking, I guess, you know. It's more likely.
And what is special about French wine as compared to Spanish wine or Italian wine?
Well, I think, you know, the grapes. First, you know, the grapes, the terroir. After also it's depend the region, you know, where they came from. So every region, every terroir have this own typicity. So that makes some difference with some Spanish one and some French one. Could be lighter, different style of body, character. So.
And how did you get mixed up with Park Ridge native Tommy Greco, who is a local celebrity here practically? How did you get mixed up with him?
This is a long story. Tommy and I, we know each other for a long time because I live in a city in Manhattan, you know, in a Hell's Kitchen restaurant, the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood. And that's why I met Tommy at the Querico.
Querico.
Yeah, I live nearby, so we know each other for about like now, I don't know, 10, 12 years, something like that, yeah.
Wonderful.
But the first time he told me I want to do this event, I'm like, yeah, 100% I want to support, you know. I want to do that because for me it's important also to discover what's, you know, beside the city, you know.
Yeah.
I like, you know, support small, you know, place, especially here, you know.
Right. Well, it's just a pleasure to be speaking with you and having you here, and it really truly is making this a cultural event here in Park Ridge. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and I can't wait to sample.
And I will give everyone all the information about each wine, then you can have, you know, little knowledge about what it is, what it's for, and how it tastes like.
I'm
simple,
ready to be educated.
Me too.
I'm here again with Frankie, and we're talking about these wonderful wines. Now, I've been drinking this first wine, so I hope I'm still making sense.
Yes.
Just tasting it. Can you please tell us about this delicious wine that I've been tasting?
So those are three wines we're going to have for the dinner, for the event. The one we're having right now, it's called Chateau Barbano. It's a Côte de Provence.
It's so fresh tasting. It's delicious.
It's a family estate, a small production. The entire vineyard, it's organic, biodynamic. Those people have big respect for natural environment. So this is percutory vintage. You can find some note of white peach, strawberries. On the palate, you get the acidity, the minerality is well balanced, and the finish is just lovely. Give you a great.
Yes. The finish is amazing.
Yeah. Then we also to start the event, we're gonna have this Crémant de Bordeaux Brut. So it's an appellation from Bordeaux. It's a sparkling wine. They make the same way they make the champagne, same method, traditional. Harvest is done manually, and after it's rest for 12 months on flat.
What makes a delicious wine to start out? How do you choose that?
This particularly sparkling is because the bubbles are very thin, light, so you don't get very stuff after one glass. My problem sometimes with sparkling wine, you have one glass and it's like just like a meal, you know. So this is very light flavor. You will find some strawberries, and also the finish is very, very, very pleasant and elegant. So appellation Crémant de Bordeaux Brut. Rosé, and the name of this one is called La Fleur de François.
La Fleur de François. I love that name.
Beautiful is that, right?
Wonderful. Right? Okay.
And for dessert, we have this original one called pet nuts. So pet nuts mean natural sparkling wine. The difference between those two is the fermentation on the pet nut is in the barrel.
I've never heard of that for a rosé before.
Yeah, it's something new in the market. It's been in the market for the last few years and begin more and more popular. And I pick up this one because for dessert, this is fantastic also. You get some nice note on red fruit, raspberry, and also the bubbles are very light. It's very, very pleasant. And after a meal, it's something you want something. You don't want something aggressive, you know.
It's just fresh tasting at the end.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what we're drinking here now, because I don't think we showed the bottle.
Okay, so that's the Côte de Provence.
Yeah,
Chateau
okay.
Barbagano, Côte de Provence. This domain is nearby where I'm from, Marseille. It's about like 30 minutes driving. And that's one of the rosé I've been having and selling for the past 10 years.
I'm in love with that wine. So anyway, the people coming here tonight for that supper club are in for a real treat. Thank you for explaining these wines. I love to drink
pleasure.
them,
My pleasure.
but I also love to learn about them.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
So we will do that all through the entire dinner.
Okay. We've got some really delicious food here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to try this fantastic food. Everything
This
looks just so beautiful.
Truly an amazing seafood boil. I've been eating
Yeah.
this, so just grab.
Should I just grab something?
Just
All
grab
right,
something.
I'll grab something from over here. Let's see how
Grab
this looks.
shrimp.
This looks like a delicious looking shrimp. Wow. I bet you it's flavored really beautifully too. I could see all those marvelous spices that he put in. Oh, Nick is a genius when it comes to spicing his delicious seafood. Wow, this just looks gorgeous. Takes me a little bit to get this shell, but now I've done it.
So tell me, what's the verdict? Delicious?
Oh, this is so superb. Absolutely beautiful food. I might need to try something else here. I'm not sure what else I should try. What have we got here? Is this some kind of like a little neck clam or something?
Well, you would know about those clams from Long Island, wouldn't you?
Oh my God, this is delicious. Oh wow. It's kind of spicy actually, but in a very nice way. All right, I think we can
There's
go
a
with
mussel.
with a little mini fork here. Not exactly the neatest food to eat, but boy,
Well, I mean, the
so
food is
delicious.
on the table,
Oh, I
right?
know. Wow.
As is the tradition for
beautiful.
clam bake.
Oh my God, it has a smoky flavor to it as well. I think, what is that spice? Do you remember what that was?
He gave us the name of a secret spice, but you should try
it's
this
a
potato.
Secret spice. Oh, I'm gonna try potato. I haven't had a potato in a long time. It's gonna be good. Wow, this is beautifully seasoned too. I guess it goes in the same boil ingredients with all of the other delicious seafood. So it has that
Now there's a
terrific
corn
flavor.
there, but I don't know if we want to do that on camera.
No, I don't think I need the corn tonight. I think I'll decorn tonight.
Yeah, okay.
I'll stay clear of corn. That might be pornographic, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Ha ha ha.
I know you can't stand my corny jokes, but that's why you married me, right?
Yes, that's true, yes. Yeah. Well, that and other things. Here's another little neck.
This is absolutely spectacular. But
I'm
this
gonna
one is
try.
open and beautiful. Oh, this is gorgeous. Wow.
I'm going to crack it open and see. Should I?
My compliments to the chef today. We are so grateful here at PKRG-TV to have an opportunity to eat this delicious food and to learn more about the way it was prepared and the relationships of the people involved in making it. Well, I am perfectly happy with what I've just had now, and so I think I'm going to say farewell for today. So thank you everybody for watching this wonderful program today. We really appreciate you all tuning in to PKRG-TV.